So the trade deadline is heating up. It's getting closer. 5th of November is the deadline. We've already had a massive move in Davante Adams from Vegas to the Jets, linking up with Rodgers. Didn't go smoothly today, didn't go to plan today, obviously going down to the Pittsburgh Steelers and only getting the 30 yards with Rodgers today. However, there are some names that I'm going to present to you that are potential trade candidates, some big names at that as well, that could be, and I'm going to give you the teams that they should potentially go to, that they be a good fit, or it will bolster these teams for a potential playoff Super Bowl run. So without further ado, let's get into the list. First up, it's a big one. Maxx Crosby, one of the biggest pains to probably scheme up against on offense. The defensive beast, edge rusher, do it all on the field basically 100% of the time. Maxx Crosby for the Raiders for years now has been a presence. And for years now, the Raiders have been pretty mid. And so as we just talked about Davante going from the Raiders to the Jets, maybe it's just time to blow it all up. The Raiders, I think, need to rebuild. They obviously don't have the quarterback at the moment. Gardner Minshew, O'Connell, these guys are bottom of the barrel in terms of NFL quality quarterbacks at the moment. And so getting a big haul for someone like Maxx Crosby could be the way to go. And the team that I think that should go after him are the Detroit Lions. Now, obviously, Aiden Hutchinson, unfortunately, in week 6 went down with a gruesome leg break. If you haven't seen that video, only watch it if you can sort of stomach that sort of thing, because his leg was going in directions which it should not. And so with Aiden Hutchinson's awesome start to this year, he could have been a potential Defensive Player of the Year candidate. There is obviously a big hole now for the Detroit Lions in terms of creating pressure on the opposing quarterback. And I think it just makes sense in terms of a player-head coach relationship. Wouldn't you just love to see what Maxx Crosby could do under head coach Dan Campbell? I think they're just very similar personalities, the confidence and commitment that they bring to this game. And so at the end of the day, Maxx Crosby is just a premium edge rusher. He's a guy that can do it all. Sacks, pressures, force fumbles, passes defended. He does it all. He's on the field, as I said, basically the whole game. And at the end of the day, I think this just cements the Lions, who are already killing it right now at 5-1. It cements them as a Super Bowl favorite. Now the next player on this list pains me to say, it's Budda Baker. And because as an Arizona Cardinal fan, this is one of the few players on the defense right now that can hold their head high. He's been there for years now, and he's been a superstar. And he holds a special place in my heart, and I think a lot of Cardinals fans' hearts. So to see him potentially leave would be heartbreaking. But at the end of the day, this is a business, and it would make sense because Budda Baker is on an expiring contract. So if the Cardinals did view the situation as, this is a guy we can get something for, we don't want to pay him for his next contract, it's time to do it now. Now the team that I've picked out for Budda Baker is the Philadelphia Eagles. And in years gone by, a lot stronger. This season, not the same force to be reckoned with, I don't think. And a bit in particular, I looked at this team, the defense is down, and the safety position is one that they could definitely improve upon. And so specifically, CJ Gardner-Johnson, one of their safeties, has been tragic this season. He's been way too keen to intercept the ball, just completely losing possession. He's missing tackles. He's doing almost everything wrong. He has just a 51.6 PFF grade. And then on top of this, Reed Blankenship is not the most athletic player going around. He's their other safety. And so I think adding Budda Baker into this mix, he is a pocket rocket. He defends the run like nothing else. He can make tackles for loss, put him in blitz packages as well. His coverage hasn't been as good in the last couple of years, but this is a guy that's, he's a 6-time Pro Bowler. Now the third player I have on the list is Haason Reddick. And this guy is just, we haven't heard from him, because besides the off-field stuff, because on-field he hasn't played for the Jets. He's been holding out this entire year since being traded from the Eagles. Hasn't played a snap. Now, only as of today has he agreed on a contract with the Jets, so maybe they're potentially repairing their broken relationship and he will play for the Jets, but a trade still could be on the cards. And why not? This is a player who, for many years now in a row, has been a double-digit sack guy. This is a guy that you can rely on to get to the quarterback. An edge rusher is a very important position for many teams to put the pressure on the quarterback, get him down, lose those yards. And so even with all the off-field stuff, you know, maybe there's some attitude problems there. I think even his agency, they've definitely gotten rid of him, his previous agency, but I think they might even be taking legal action. And so even disregarding all that outside noise, Haason Reddick is a premium pass rusher in this league and has been for a number of years now. So a team that I think should absolutely be going for him is the Dallas Cowboys. Jerry Jones, do something. And Jerry Jones is a big reason why. He needs to make a splash. The Cowboys need to do something. They missed out on Derrick Henry. They've paid CeeDee Lamb, Dak Prescott, but this defense is folding big time. And you look at the position where Haason Reddick would play. Micah Parsons has been hurt. DeMarcus Lawrence on IR. Rookie Marshawn Nyland on IR. There are holes in this defense, and there are holes where Reddick could slide in and play a vital part in reviving this Dallas Cowboys team. The fourth guy on the list is an aging receiver, but someone that I think can still do a job, and that's DeAndre Hopkins. For the Tennessee Titans, hasn't gone well. Will Levis, I don't think, is the answer. Mason Rudolph, obviously not the guy for the future either. But DeAndre Hopkins has still got some game left in him, I think. Along with Budda Baker, this is another expiring contract. So, aging receiver, team that needs to rebuild, it's not really meshing here. So the team that I think that should go after him, to maybe many's dismay, is the Kansas City Chiefs. The Chiefs were actually heavily interested in DeAndre Hopkins before he chose Tennessee Titans a couple of years ago. So I think it makes sense. And on top of this, obviously, you can see the amount of injuries and the players that they're having to play. Even though the Chiefs are doing completely fine, they're undefeated still, somehow, with Patrick Mahomes having some of the worst stats in his career. He's not having a great year, but they're still getting it done. And so I think it works for both parties in the sense that Tennessee Titans, they've paid Calvin Ridley. He's a bit younger. They paid him a bag from Jacksonville. This gets rid of DeAndre Hopkins. He goes to a competing team, potentially win a Super Bowl, because at this rate, Chiefs are just going to win every single bloody year, even when they look horrendous. And so adding Hopkins to this mix, because they have Hollywood Brown out, Rashee Rice out, Pacheco's been out, they've had so many injuries, and now Juju Smith-Schuster's out, so they're just losing players on offense every single week, basically. Get DeAndre Hopkins in there, he can make plays still. Now my final player, Andre Cisco, is not of the same caliber, I don't think, as the previous players I've mentioned, because the previous players, you know, they've got all-pro, Pro Bowl level prowess. Andre Cisco is a serviceable guy though, another safety on this list, and the reason he's on here is because the Jaguars are an absolute basket case. They did win today to get their record up to two wins, 5 losses. However, I think some changes need to be made. Many players on this team, this roster, have dropped form across the board, offense, defense. Andre Cisco being one of them. He's not in a situation where he's a shining light. He has honestly dropped away from his previous years. However, he could still play a part on a competing team, I think. Because admittedly, he has actually been one of the worst rated safeties according to PFF this season. However, in his previous 3 years or so, he's been a serviceable safety in this league. And so a team that I think should go after him are the Washington Commanders, who are a team that not many people would have thought would finish 5-2 after 7 weeks of football. Washington are making a playoff run, which is a nut sentence to say out loud. And in terms of the safety position where Andre Cisco would slot in, they're running with Jeremy Chin and Quan Martin. At the moment, these two guys, decent, but the reason I put Andre Cisco in here is because that is a position you can improve upon. Their defense has been playing above my expectations at least, and this is a guy that can slot into that defensive back room and make plays and further this probable playoff run for the Commanders. But that's my list of 5 players that could potentially get traded before the deadline. Potential trade candidates for many teams that are looking to make a playoff run. They could bolster their list and make an impact for a potential Super Bowl. And if there's a player out there that you think could be traded or should be traded to a certain team, let me know in the comments below. And if you did enjoy this video, remember to like, subscribe for more NFL content. And as always, I'll see you in the next one.